with Pampered Chef. Hope y'all are having a good day. So today I wanted to come with you live and give you some tips on our salad and berry spinner and our stainless steel bowls. These two have been a huge savings in my own kitchen, much less other ones that I do teach at live shows. And I like to teach you as well on how to keep any type of vegetables, fruits that you're actually going to keep in the refrigerator, okay, and keep those cold, because if they're out on the countertops, obviously there's a different storage situation for that. So thank y'all for joining me. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about our stainless steel bowl set. Okay, so this is actually the large bowl, so this is 24 cups. We also have a 16 cup bowl, so this is 16 cups with a lid. And then we also have our 8-cup bowl, okay? So they all do stack on top of each other. So they do make it very, let me drag us in a little bit. So they do make it very pretty, okay, for you to stack if you want to stack them that way. Obviously, if you're storing them, you're going to store them in the refrigerator kind of deal. And then the lids actually suction cup down on the inside, so you have to put a little elbow grease in there to push those down, okay? They are silicone on the bottom, so these are not sliding around on your countertops. No matter what type of countertop you have, it's not going to slide around, okay? And of course, they all do come with lids. Now, before you ask, we don't just sell one. You actually have to get the entire set, but I promise you, when you get the set, you will find a reason to use those. They are super nice. You can mix in these with a regular hand mixer. You can actually use your whisk, which we sell too. So we actually have 2 different size whisks. You can actually use our whisk inside there. So however you want to do that. And it does have all the measurements and everything on the inside for you, which I love, okay? You probably can see, okay? So you can see 2, 4, 6, and 8 cups. So each one of them have cups on one side, and then the other side has liters, okay? You have your pour spout, so it's very easy for you to pour out everything, okay? Very easy for you to grip to this, so you got a thumb holder instead of you having to hold it like this and do this. Okay, they are dishwasher safe. These you can throw in the dishwasher if you want to. My water is too hot for that, so I actually just hand wash those lids. But the bowls I do put in the dishwasher so it doesn't mess those up. Okay, so we're going to talk about those as far as storage issues, but this is probably the biggest. I would say this is what helps this, if that makes sense, when it comes to storage, okay? And what I mean by that is, if y'all know what I'm talking about, is storing your fruits and veggies, okay? We all know that whether you have your own garden, whether you're buying from a garden, whether you're going to the grocery store, whatever it may be, that you spend a ton of money on fresh produce, okay? In less than a week's time, we're chucking those in the trash can, okay? And I know that because I'm one of those people as well and have done it for a very long time. I have been selling Pampered Chef for 16 years, and I'm here to tell you, I want to say we've probably had these products a good 8 or 10 years, somewhere around that line, and kind of just did some research myself, you know, watch a lot of food stuff, that kind of thing, and just took it upon myself to figure this out. So what I did one day is I started washing, obviously, all my fruits and veggies in here will tell you why you need to do that, and then I started storing them in our stainless steel bowls. It was kind of like an accident, and I was like, oh, this lasts a whole lot longer than just putting it in a regular bowl or leaving it in a container in the refrigerator. So let's go back to garden days. If anybody here has a garden, or you buy from somebody who has a garden, you know personally, maybe your grandparents had a garden. What I'm getting at is, you know that when we get too much rain outside, the fruits and vegetables rot because it's way too much rain. So remember the same thing when you go to the grocery store. Depending on where you go, okay, whatever grocery store you have, if you have an Aldi, if you have a Lidl, which we do not have either one of those, I have to travel about 30 minutes or so to get to one of those. But if you know what I'm talking about, and some of your grocery stores may have it as well, is a lot of the produce is in the middle of the aisles with no refrigeration, okay? If you actually take a look at your other grocery stores, that all the fruits and veggies are in a refrigeration. They're always getting sprayed with water, that little thunderstorm thing that comes down. They're constantly soaking wet, okay? And then we come home, leave them in the bag, and put them in this refrigerator right here, okay? So tell me now at this point, that's why your fruits and vegetables go bad, y'all, is they're already soaked, and you're putting them in the refrigerator. That causes more condensation, okay? So a couple of tips for you today. First and foremost, I know y'all have heard of pesticide poisoning, okay? I am here to tell you that stuff is not good for you, okay? You know, I've had people send me pictures, look what this did to me. You know, some people, y'all, have not made it. Some people have died from pesticide poisoning, so you really need to take that serious, because it is not good for you. Y'all, it is straight up chemicals that they're spraying and you're not cleaning off, okay? How many of y'all buy apples? How many of y'all buy bananas? How many of y'all buy pears? That kind of stuff that typically you don't wash, okay? You just come home and eat it. Y'all, you have no idea what's been put on those, whose hands has been on them, whose kids has come by, whose adults' hands has come by. You know, our hands is actually probably worse than kids. I mean, we handle money, we do gas pumps, all that stuff. Y'all, our hands are nasty, okay? So if you're not bringing your fruits and veggies home and cleaning them first before you put them in the refrigerator, you're truly missing out because that's why you're wasting so much money. I know the old myth has always been, oh, don't wash your stuff until you're ready to use it. Y'all, that is not the truth, okay? If you would actually come home and wash your fruits and veggies before you actually go store them, okay, they will last so much longer, okay, because you're getting the pesticides off. A couple of tips in addition to this is you can fill a sink full of water and a cup of vinegar and let your fruits and veggies actually just lay in there and sit for a couple hours to soak, and it takes all those pesticides off. And I get that that's kind of a long process depending on how much fruit and veggies that you have, but that's an option for you to do at home, okay? Mine is my salad and berry spinner. This is Pampered Chef's salad and berry spinner. I love this, and it's joking. I remember when this came out, I was sitting in Denver, Colorado at a leadership conference, and I was like, who's going to buy that chicken? Who's going to use who's going to wash their fruits and veggies, okay? And it's funny, y'all, because I sell a ton of these and I absolutely love it. So our salad and berry spinner comes with quite a few things, okay? So this is actually the spinner itself. This is the large strainer that goes on the inside. This is the small strainer that goes down in here. Obviously, if you're going to do if you want to do grape cherry tomatoes or raspberries or grapes or something like that, because you can do those in here, okay? So you have the two strainers. You also have the working bowl. You also have the lid. So this is kind of a storage lid. So if you want to do a whole bowl of fruit and keep it in the refrigerator, you've got your storage lid for that as well, okay? But it also comes with a working lid, okay? So if anybody has our food processor, this kind of works the same way. So it's got your pump handle, if that makes sense. Y'all see this little black button right here? This is your brake. And I literally wash everything in here when it comes to grapes, strawberries, whatever it may be. And anything that I do store in the refrigerator, they do go in these stainless steel bowls, which we'll give you those tips for in a minute. Now for your dry fruits, like your apples, pears, that's kind of thing that you just leave out, I do bring those home and wash those, okay? That would be something that you could do, the sink full of water with your vinegar and take off that and then wipe them off and put them back in your little basket that you keep. Most of the time when you're storing fruits and veggies out on the countertop, you want to make sure that they're in some type of basket that has holes all the way around it, or a colander, whatever works that you have holes in, because y'all, they need to breathe, okay? If y'all, just give you an example of what I'm talking about, when y'all buy potatoes in a bag, okay? Most of the time it's a plastic bag. It may have a couple of holes in it. You leave it in that bag and tell me what happens to it. Typically, most of the time what happens is the entire bag in the middle is all mush because it can't breathe, but everything on the outside of that bag is beautiful, okay? Same thing for grapes, same thing for strawberries, all that stuff that comes in those, mesh containers, plastic containers. You definitely want to get those out of those containers, because remember, y'all, people's hands are nasty. And again, you don't know what's happened on the process to get to the grocery store, okay? So please take it from me, wash your fruits and vegetables. And it's funny because, y'all, people who have a garden do the same thing. They bring it in from outside, they come in and wash it, okay? But the biggest key to keeping your fruits and vegetables longer is to keep it out of the refrigerator, okay? They just last longer. If y'all think about it, when we have gardens, it's 90, 100 degrees outside. They grow, live all 9 yards. We come in and think we have to go run it to the refrigerator, okay? But that's truly what makes it go bad faster, okay? So when you are grocery shopping, if you can find stuff not in the refrigerated section, okay, like they may have peppers cold, and they also may have green peppers and that kind of stuff out in the aisle that doesn't have water. Those are gonna be your best options to purchase because they last longer, okay? What I always tell people is cucumbers for me. Cucumbers is one of those things, they will last twice as long if you keep it out on your countertop, okay? I like cold cucumbers. If I'm eating salad, I prefer to have cold. So what I'll typically do is, if I know that they're bought, and now the problem is if you buy them already cold, y'all, you can't take them from cold and then leave them out, because that obviously they've already been cold. So anything that you can pick up dry that's not being refrigerated, that's what I'm referring to keep it out on the countertop, okay? Now, storing purposes, okay, we're going to get to that in a second, but I'm going to show you how the salad and berry spinner works. So first and foremost, this has a brake, just like your car does. So if you drive a car, just like a brake. So it's got a brake, you just have to push in. Because you don't want to keep this still spinning, and then you pull the lid off, you're going to have lettuce or whatever you have in there come flying out, okay? This pump right here actually goes 19 miles an hour, just like your car does too. And if y'all can see, I'm going to pull this down a little bit. And if y'all can see, all that water is spinning off there. So the only thing that I did ahead of time, I'm gonna make this big screen. The only thing that I did ahead of time, y'all, was let water run over my lettuce, okay? And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, because I have been at shows and people may not know how to use this. And what they'll do is they'll leave this in here, pour all the water in here, so then before we start, it's already half full of water. That is not what we want to do, okay? What you want to do is you want to make sure that you just just stand over your faucet and just let water run over this, if that makes sense, okay? And what we're going to do is kind of put that to the top, and then you're just going to run this. And I typically, as y'all can just see this, I typically pump this about 8 to 10 times, okay? And y'all will notice I'm not having to chase this because it does have silicone on the bottom, just like our stainless steel bowls does. So it's not sliding around, you don't have to catch it. Hit your brake, and y'all can see it stopped. And then when you get done, you're gonna have a whole thing of water right here. Okay, let me get me a second. So what I do is we're going to just take that water and get it off here, okay? So this is actually lettuce that I actually got from a local farm, that it's actually organic. I can tell you that I know that they've washed it because I can kind of look and tell that it's been cleaned and dried before they've actually put it in their container that we purchased it from. And it's funny because some people don't realize that, okay? So let's start with lettuce first of all. If you buy any type of organic lettuce in those plastic containers that you may get from Costco, BJ's, grocery store, whatever it may be, I know that it says organic and I know that it says triple washed. Do y'all know what triple wash means? What that means is I hope you better wash that, okay? It is the nastiest lettuce that you can purchase, okay? Typically at a show, if I'm doing a live show, I will have all hosts, please do not purchase me any type of pre-bag lettuce, and I'll tell you why, okay? When y'all see what comes off of your lettuce into this cup, okay, when you actually see that, you will not eat that, okay? So I don't want people not eating their salads at shows because they're all so good. But it's funny how people realize that and they're like, oh my God, I literally most of the time take it out of the package and eat it straight out of the package. And you do that because it says it's pre-washed, but y'all, it's not telling you what it's pre-washed with, okay? It's typically chemicals, okay? So typically if you're doing organic, y'all, I will tell you when you get done, the water is completely black. That is why I can sit here and tell you that I know that they've washed and cleaned this, because this water is clear, okay? It is, I know, I can tell by the package that they've already washed and cleaned it before I purchased it, okay? So I'm gonna obviously, because I want to show you what, and this is just a lettuce mix, okay? I love lettuce mix. Some of y'all might like iceberg, some of you like romaine. It doesn't matter what type of lettuce you like. The only thing that I'm gonna warn you about is quit buying pre-bagged. Every 3 weeks, y'all, there is some type of brand, there's some type of store with E. coli, with something in that bag lettuce, okay? Y'all, bag lettuce should not turn brown in 30 minutes after you open it up, okay? So why are you still buying it? It is not good for you. I get it's convenience. I get it's very expensive, okay? So why don't you buy a real head of lettuce and cut it off? It's way cheaper, okay? And we have these cool tools that are called salad choppers. I don't know if y'all have these or not, okay? Most people probably use these for meat, but that's what you chop everything up with. You put it in one bowl and you chop up, okay? So it's super easy for you to do that, and you don't have to take all day to do that. So these are like a top seller. So I always tell people with these, don't forget these are meat too. Any type of cooked meat you can actually use these for. So what I'm gonna do is put this back inside. So let's talk about, so we talked about organic, no matter what brand it is. And then let's go to Dole brand or store brand or something like that if you're buying a different brand. And if you just buy those that are not organic, I'm gonna tell you the water when you get done is like sweet tea color. If everybody knows what sweet tea is, it is a sweet tea color, okay? And it is brown. And again, remember, you pick it out and 30 minutes later, you have to throw the rest of the bag away, or tomorrow it's totally brown. You should not be eating that, okay? Now this, we're gonna do again, and I typically do this about 3 times, y'all, and that really is to get all the water off, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And again, Now, y'all can chop it up before you put it in here if you want to, or what I typically do is just keep it whole, and then I chop it up. And y'all can kind of see at this point, I hardly have no water left, okay? I'm gonna do it one more time. And remember, the key is you want it dry and clean before you store it, because if it is any bit wet, why store it? It's gonna turn brown, okay? So you wanna make sure it's completely dry. Okay, so we'll hit stop again. Y'all will probably see at this point, there's really zero water left, okay? That's all that's left, okay? So again, clean lettuce for them, okay? I already have some prepared so I could show you ahead of time. This is what my week looks like, okay? So as y'all can see, oops, sorry, my camera caught that. Pretty lettuce that y'all can see right here. It's just a mix, different lettuce, red leafy, spinach, all different kinds of stuff. My husband says it's we're eating trees. Okay, I do have a large bowl, so this is the 24-cup bowl that I actually have done ahead of time. So the key is you got to have the lid, got to have paper towel in here, okay? And y'all can see this is actually a whole thing that I've already done ahead of time. Okay, so what I want to tell you is, this is no exaggeration. I'm going to tell you to do it because I would not sit up here and tell you after 16 years that this works for me and not anybody else, okay? So what I do is I take my lettuce, no matter what type of lettuce it is, and if you want to cut it up ahead of time, you can. It's totally your choice. Make sure that when you are cutting up your lettuce that you're using our salad choppers or you're using a knife that is a stainless steel blade. If you're using a metal knife, y'all, anything that you cut up is going to turn brown because of the antioxidants that's in those, okay? You do not want to store in metal. These are actually stainless steel bowls, not metal. So make sure you don't store in metal either, because I know when you go to the store, they put stainless right beside a metal and they're competing against each other. Metal is super cheap. Y'all probably know that. Stainless steel costs a little bit more money. You pay for what you get. Stainless steel is the way to go when it comes for storage purposes. Remember, these are also mixing bowls, so you can use them for that reason too. So just a quick tip on any type of lettuce. And again, if you're the person who's still going to buy that bag of lettuce, still do this process, but it's not going to last as long as I'm going to tell you to. And it's just because it's so processed, okay? So that's your kind of thing there. So all I have in here is actually 2 packages of that lettuce that I've already done there. I kept one to show you, okay? So this is in here, that's all it's, and I'm not chopping this up because y'all, it's already ready to go for salads, okay? If you wanted to do iceberg, if you want to do red leafy lettuce, anything that you want to do, you can store it whole. I would pull it off the stalk, obviously, or if you want to go ahead and chop it up for salads, you can do that as well, okay? But just remember, use a stainless steel blade when you do that. The key is to put a dry paper towel over the top of your food, okay? So example, lettuce. So y'all can see I'm kind of just draping that over top. We're gonna put the lid, and remember the lid actually kind of suction cups down on our bowl. So this part is obviously for your pour spout in the back. And when I say this, you'll see what I'm talking about, because you actually have to push it down in there. And the reason that we do this, y'all, is so we can eliminate most of the air that's going to be coming from your bowls, okay? So needless to say, it's very hard to get oil in this, to get air in this bowl when it's in the refrigerator, because it's so tight down on top of here, okay? So that's kind of the difference. And if you see what I'm talking about, most of our bowls, most of the lids just fit around the top, so that's how air gets in, okay? Or if you're doing some type of plastic or aluminum foil, you'll kind of know it's obviously going to get through there. So this bowl, today is Sunday. I will show you a picture next Sunday of what this lettuce looks like, okay? I will tell you, the lettuce is going to look just like this next Sunday, okay? And it's because first and foremost, I cleaned and I dried it and I stored it in something that will actually last, okay? So back to this, okay? I'm going to do the same thing. Obviously, that bowl's full. And that's really, I have 2 packs in there. You can really get it down to the top if you want to. I would not overfill it, if that makes sense, because you want to have room for that lid to go down inside there. So I will probably put this one in this bowl, which is the medium size. I do have several sets of these because I use them for storage and mixing. But just a rule of thumb, lettuce typically lasts 6 weeks, y'all. Not 6 days, not 6 hours, 6 weeks. All you have to do is, my day is on Sunday because that's typically the Sunday that I'm home most of the time. All I have to do is go in here, take this paper towel out, put a new paper towel in, put the lid on, put it back in the refrigerator, okay? That's the only rule, y'all. Okay, so simple. Most people ask me all the time, why wouldn't you put the paper towel on the bottom? Okay, so let's go back old school, I should say. Moisture works up, y'all. Okay, so what that means is, y'all think about sour cream. When you pull the lid off of sour cream or something like that, all the moisture's on the lid and then some of it drops down into your food. How many of y'all actually mix it up? If you do, you're kind of smart. It's creamy. It just makes it creamier. And it's just water. It's condensation. Those of y'all's like, ooh, let me get this off. It's already in your food. Okay. So remember, moisture always works up. So that's why the paper towel goes on top and not the bottom. Because people call me all the time, like, Nichole, put a paper towel on the bottom. It's not doing any good. Remember, moisture works up. So you want it to collect on the paper towel at the top. And then when that paper towel gets to the point it can't hold anymore, it's going to fall down and going to start turning things brown. So that's kind of your key, is you want to do it once a week. That's all you have to do. Any type of lettuce, okay? Now, those of y'all that are buying pre-bag lettuce, you can do the same tips, but I'll be here to tell you, you may get a half a week, which is longer than a day, okay? But you're not, because they spray this with so much chemicals. That's why it's processed. That's why you buy it, because it's already done. You don't have to do anything, okay? But why spend $4 and $5 on a pack of lettuce when I can buy an entire package and this lasts me for 6 weeks? I'm just saying, whole lot better options and money when it comes to that, okay? Now, aside from the lettuce, we're going to go to fruits and veggies, okay? Now, I have a pineapple here I've not cut because I'm actually saving this. We are going to roast this in our air fryer, okay? So I'm excited about that. So we're going to keep it whole, but I just want to give you an example of when it comes to storage for fruits and veggies in these bowls as well, okay? So if I was to cut this pineapple up today, I would use our pineapple wedger. If you don't have a pineapple wedger, it's lovely. If you don't know how to use it, please message me. I would be glad to help you, because I think so many people buy this and don't realize how to use it, so they don't like it, okay? So let me show you how to use it, and you'll definitely probably using it several times a week on a brand new pineapple. So example, I would cut this up, throw my pineapple down in here, dry paper towel over the top, put the lid, put it in the refrigerator, okay? Now, a paper towel is not going to last in wet fruit for a week, okay? That's just common sense when it comes to that. So my example for you on that is, any type of wet fruits or veggies, you need to keep your paper towel changed out about every 2 or 3 days, if that makes sense, okay? Now back to lettuce, your dry fruits, like raspberries, grapes, strawberries, those kinds of things. Those are way less watery than a pineapple, watermelon, cantaloupe, those kinds of things. So just remember, anything that's super watery, you want to keep changed out about every 2 or 3 days. Anything that is super dry, like your lettuce, especially once you wash it to begin with, you're going to do once a week per paper towel, okay? So again, I love getting photos from my customers like, oh my God, I've saved so much money. So I'm going to go back to how much money we waste. And I've seen this article several times in Good Housekeeping magazine, because they actually, probably about 8 years ago, I had read a Good Housekeeping magazine. They got to talking about pesticide poison, and it typically comes out in about spring, about how many people are dying from pesticide poison. Y'all, that number, I cannot even tell you how much that number has grown. I know it's 25% or more just since 8 years ago, since I started reading that article, from pesticide poisoning, okay? All it has to do is hit you the right spot, okay? Because again, it's chemicals that are being sprayed on your fruits and veggies in your garden. So think about all the fruits and veggies that you purchase. You know, we spend a lot of money on fruits and veggies. That's probably the second most expensive thing in your buggy at the grocery store, meat being number one, okay? I say this, most of us don't waste meat. We always try to find some type of reason to use it, freeze it. We do something with it so we're not wasting our money, because it is expensive, okay? But here comes fruits and veggies, okay? You know, when you pay $3 or $4 or whatever you're paying for a pineapple, who wants to go that the race week after week after week because you've not got in there and cut it up ahead of time, okay? So when it comes for storage, that's where I'm getting at. Having these two products will save you at least $80 a month in groceries and not throwing them in the trash can, if you do exactly what I told you to today, as far as, you know, doing the salad and berry spinner. And if you don't have a salad and berry spinner, you're going to have to wash them, do your sink, your vinegar, like I told you, and then you're going to have to let them sit out and dry. You're going to have to dry them off, because you can't just, again, take them from wet and put them into a cold refrigerator, because that's going to saturate them and make them go back faster, okay? So the whole key is to wash and clean, make sure you get all the stuff off of it, and then store it dry. So whether it is out on the countertop or if it's going in the refrigerator, make sure that it's completely dry, okay? So that's going to keep you a whole lot longer when it comes to that. So on average, y'all, and the reason I say $80 is that is the average of what people throw a week, though a month, in the trash can. So the average is $20 a week that people are throwing in the trash can between lettuce, veggies, fruits, the whole 9 yards when it comes to produce, okay? So I sit here and say this because, again, I know this is a purchase, but remember, it's a purchase that you don't have to keep redoing, okay? Again, I've had these products about 8 or 9 years, and it's even if I was a customer, y'all, that would probably be the best investment that I would make was that salad and berry spinner and these stainless steel bowls, okay? So I want to go back to the salad and berry spinner because I do have an article. Actually, last year, and it might have been spring or summertime, if anybody here follows Rachel Ray, we were actually on her top salad and berry spinner for her. You know, she puts out a list each year, and we were actually top of her list for our salad and berry spinner, okay? And I love it too because I think a lot of your salad and berry spinners, y'all, are first and foremost, are not this big, okay? Second of all, they don't have silicone on the bottom, and most of them are actually hollowed out on the bottom, meaning you have to use it inside of a sink. You personally can't use it on your countertop because it's hollow right here, so it would be open, okay? And you get all kinds of tools with this. You get the small strainer, you get your large one, you get your working lid, and then you also get your storing lid, okay? So don't forget about that. This can be used too if you wanted to make a salad ahead of time, and let's say that you're taking it somewhere. You can take this whole thing just like this, or you can put fruit in here and put it in the refrigerator, especially if it's something that you're gonna eat within a day or so. The storage would be something that if I wanted to buy a whole flat of strawberries, which is about to happen because those are about to come out from your gardens and your local markets and those kinds of things, you can fill an entire bowl up instead of having to freeze them to keep them. You could do what I told you to as far as a salad and berry spinner or your sink of water and vinegar, and then dry those. Make sure, and that's the key, y'all, because this does it all. This cleans and dries. That's the problem, is I think people don't realize they have to completely dry everything before you store it, okay? So those are just a couple of my tips today on our salad and berry spinner and our stainless steel bowl. So I really hope that helped you out today. And let me know. I would love to know what works for you. And if this is something that you would love to purchase, I would love to help you and get that. As a host, I can help you get that for free, half price and discount. I do virtual shows, so you don't even have to leave your house. I actually still do live cooking shows from here, and you can actually share it with your friends. I also do live shows in home. So if you want me to come to your house, I'll definitely come to your house and do live shows. So that way you can learn more stuff like this. And then again, if you just want to purchase as a customer, I'd love to have you as a customer and help you get these in your home as well. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me cooking with Nichole today. And I hope y'all have a great afternoon.